Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie, the introverted reader, and I'm back to wrap up August. How is August done already? Sitting here in the exact same shirt I was wearing last time, but my hair in a ponytail because I couldn't be bothered doing anything with it, so ignore that. But yeah, this is gonna be my wrap up for the last like 2 or so weeks of August. Because as you guys know, I participated in the Merlin readathon for the first 2 weeks of August, and that was so much fun. I loved it. It was a fun time, and I will leave the wrap up for that down below. The whole purpose of that readathon was to try and read 4 books in 2 weeks, so you can go watch my wrap up for that and see how well or not so well I did. But yeah, I'll leave that link down below if you're interested. But anyway, I somehow managed to get through a few books. I have things here that I'll talk to you about. First one I want to talk to you about, I'm still making my way through this monster. I am over 300 pages in. I am 357 pages in. But the thing is, I have just not felt inclined to pick this up. Like, whenever I was away on my trip, I had the audiobook of this with me, and I just didn't want to listen to it. Because I'll be honest, guys, I'm getting bored. I'm bored. I feel like I'm in a lull right now with this book, and I hate saying that, but it's true. So please tell me that the ending of this is wonderful and spectacular and that I need to keep going, because yeah, I'm just getting really bored and it's making me really sad and frustrated. So please tell me that the ending of this is wonderful, because then that will incline me to keep going. But obviously I do have other audiobooks that I want to listen to, because obviously I have the Introverted Reader readathon starting tomorrow. So yeah, please. I had hoped to get this finished this month, but I never did. But anyway, let's go talk about the books that I actually did finish. So on my trip, I brought with me my Kindle. I didn't bring physical books with me. And on my Kindle, I managed to read and complete 2 books. One being The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinkowski. And it's a book, it's a young adult fantasy, sort of based off of Russian folklore. And it's basically about this girl called, what is her name? Valeria? I'm going to say her name is Valeria. And she basically lives in this world where there was this huge cataclysmic event that froze everything. So her entire village, her family, everyone is covered in ice. They are frozen, except for her, for whatever reason, because obviously she's the main character. She's like the chosen one or whatever. So anyway, and her and her best friend end up working for this thieves guild, and something goes wrong in one of her jobs, and then she kind of ends up on the run, and things kind of go from there. I'll be honest, this one for me was not, like, it was it was a fun time, it was a good book, but at the same time I don't know, I felt like I was given the bare bones of a story rather than like a full-fledged story, if you know what I mean. Excuse me while I nearly coughed on you there. But what I was saying was I don't think I really got enough of the story, if I'm being honest. Like, the characters just felt really, really flat. Like, our main character felt like your like stereotypical blowing hot and cold young adult protagonist, if I'm being honest. She kind of got on my nerves. And the romance in it was just like, whatever. It was all right. It was good. The ending, I suppose, was all right, because everybody on Goodreads was going on and on about the ending and whatever. So in the end, I gave it 3 stars, maybe 2.5, if I'm being a bit more accurate, but it was okay. It was all right. I might read the sequel to see how the story pans out, because the ending of that one was actually quite good. So Bright and the Pale gets a 2.5 star from me. Now, the next book that I read on my Kindle was The Prison Healer by Lynette Nomi. And I ended up buying a physical copy of this book because I loved this book. This was fantastic. This was a 5-star because I had Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard on my Kindle and I wasn't in the mood for it. So I just randomly grabbed this to read with me on my trip. And oh my goodness, guys, this book, it's fantastic. So we're following our main character called Kiva, and she has been in this prison for over 10 years. Her and her father were dragged in when she was just a child, kind of like a wrong place, wrong time sort of situation. And her father was a really, really skilled healer, and he ended up becoming the prison healer, and then he ended up dying in the prison. So Kiva kind of took up the mantle for prison healer. So anyway, one day this woman is brought in, and this woman is what is known in the kingdom as the Rebel Queen. And basically she is basically the leader of this whole rebel group that is trying to overthrow the current monarchy and you know, take back her throne and whatever. Well, a throne that she claims is hers. And basically they bring her in and she is dying. Basically, she is about to die. She's on death's door. And they say to Kiva, keep her alive because she has to answer for her crimes. But obviously, it's really difficult for Kiva to do that because she doesn't know what's wrong with her. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening in the prison as well. So, yeah. I'll not give you any more than that because that's all I knew. But, like, this book... Guys, this book was fantastic. 5 out of 5. Like, but trigger warning for sort of like torture, self-harm, death of a family member, and really just everything to do with like a prison, sexual assault, and drug use as well. So be wary of those before getting into this, but like it is so worth it. This was so good. This was wonderful. And I'm so excited for the sequel. Like I pre-ordered the sequel as well, and I don't want to wait until October. I really don't. But like if you haven't read this, I highly, highly recommend. 5 out of 5 from me. Really sad that I went from a 5 out of 5 to a 2.5 with Bright and the Pale, but whatever. And after I was done with that, there was still a few days left in August. So I was just like, I don't know what to read now. So I read Blackout by all these different authors. Daniel Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Nicola Yoon, and Ashley Woodfolk. This is basically a short little anthology book centered around a blackout in New York City. Basically, there is this huge heat wave, and then New York City loses its power, and you're following all these different characters, basically them dealing with the blackout and everything else that's going on in their lives. And the thing is, for me, I did have a good time reading this, but see, the thing is, you see, with me in anthologies, I get invested. Like, a short story in this would start, and then like I would be getting really, really into it. I would want to know more about these characters, but because it's a short story collection, there wasn't enough of them, and that kind of where it fell flat for me, because like it's very, very rare. Like there's barely enough like stories out there celebrating Black kids and their love and their joy, and you know, them just out here being themselves instead of, you know, talking about their trauma. Like there's not enough of those stories, and that's why these stories are so important. And I wanted more of these. I wanted more. Like I would read full-fledged novels about all of the characters and all of these stories. This is the Waterstones edition, by the way, with the sprayed edge skyline. But I mean, yeah, I did enjoy it. I guess I'll give it like a low 4 stars, but like still. Anthologies and me tend really not to go together because I get invested and then the story cuts off and then it's like, meanwhile over here, and then, you know, but yeah, still I had a really, really good time, and I definitely want to read more of these authors. I've read all of Angie Thomas's books, and I've read books by Daniel Clayton as well, so I'll definitely be checking out some of these other authors as well. So yes, those were all the books that I will be talking to you about today. We had some really, really good ones. We had some ones that I haven't finished yet. We had ones that were just okay. How did the latter half of your August go? Did you have a good reading month? Did you haven't? Did you discover any brand new favorites? Let me know. Introverted Reader Readathon starts tomorrow. I'm excited. I'll try and leave the announcement video link down below as well, along with my wrap up for the Merlin readathon, along with my Twitter and my Instagram, Amazon wishlist, everything like that. And yeah, follow me on all the socials, subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you're having a good day. Go and watch the announcement video for the readathon, and yeah, see you tomorrow for the beginning of September, because how are we here right now? Anyway, have a good day, guys. Bye.